This is a Moto G. It's an incredible phone and it is one of my favorite phones of 2013. It doesn't have a crazy screen, processor, or camera, but it costs either $179 or $199 off contract. So the Moto G is essentially a Moto X Mini, but it isn't, and it's not being marketed as it. This phone feels pretty solid in the hand, and it has a pretty good build quality. It remembers the Moto X very much and takes many design cues from it, such as the curved back, the camera and button placement, but the Moto X does feel slightly better in my opinion. On the inside, it is rocking some pretty solid specs, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor with a 1.2 GHz quad-core GPU, a 4.5-inch 720p HD display with a 329 pixels per inch, a 5-megapixel rear shooter, and a 1.3 megapixel front camera. How that translates to performance is really what matters though. The phone rarely lags, and when it does, it's very minimal. Gameplay for the most part is good, but if you're playing some intensive games, you might notice a little bit of lag. Because of these lower specs and Motorola's optimization, the 2070 mAh battery lasts me easily through the day, and I was able to go through about a day and a half on a single charge. Obviously, when you make a near perfect $179 smartphone, you're going to have some issues with it. And the trade-off here is the camera quality. The 5-megapixel camera is about as good as the camera included in the iPhone 3GS or the iPhone 4. And here you can see some of the sample pictures I've taken with the rear camera, which is, it's usable, but the front camera is barely okay for social media sharing. And it frequently will mess up the lighting and it'll make some of the image black and white. Although some other reviewers had problems with the speaker on this phone, I have not had much of a problem with it, and it's as good or better of a speaker as the one in my iPhone 5S. This is an Android phone, and I'll put it this way. If you like Android, you will love the software on the Moto G. It comes with Android in its most natural vanilla form with near stock Android, and it's gotten updates very fast. It already has KitKat, and it has had it since around December 22nd, even when Motorola promised it by January, so they're delivering early, and I like that. It shows that they're invested in their customers and they're not leaving them behind. There are a few weird things that Motorola did leave out of this phone, and I assume it was mostly to keep the price so low. One of these things is LTE. The phone does not have 4G LTE, but it does have HSPA+. This is not as surprising as the other one because it's in emerging markets, LTE is not as big as it is in the US. A little weirder is NFC. There's no NFC in this phone, so you won't be able to share information by tapping this phone to another. You will have to do it the old-fashioned way over email, text, Dropbox Drive, which, by the way, you get 50 gigabytes of free storage on Google Drive when you activate this phone to your account. The omission is particularly odd because our NFC is starting to hit the mainstream. I'm starting to see more and more places that accept Google Wallet as payment. Overall, I do think that Motorola did a great job with this device, and they made a few sacrifices as possible to be able to get it to be only $179. In an interview with Marques Brownlee, the CEO of Motorola said that when they were making the Moto G, they were trying to put the specs of an iPhone 5 into a phone that costs less than $200. They almost did that, aside from the lack of LTE in the camera. If you need an inexpensive alternative to the flagships, then this is definitely the best option for you. It's almost as good as the top of the line, and it's only $179 unlocked for Verizon for only $99 after January 9th. If, however, you would like a slightly more premium option, I would more point you in the direction of the $350 Nexus 5 or the now $400 Moto X. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.